this and attached of not having this. And out of that comes anger and aggression and hostility and blah, 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 and the whole thing. Okay, so let's go to maybe something a little bit different. If you can make another column. So do you feel these emotions? Can you feel them? Can you see that already your children, when they're not feeling well or when something is kind of wrong, that they develop very naturally from their own side strategies to feel better? Yeah? Can you see it? Or you remember when we were a child also, everybody has something where it's not, things is not going good, then the mind goes somewhere. Yeah? So why? I mean, why do we, without being taught, develop strategies for these things? Why? Without anybody needing to tell us.
Because there is the reality. We need to deal with reality.
Because we need to
deal with reality.
Deal with reality. Yeah, even a child. I mean, a small child.
Yeah. You need reality.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the whole point of having a brain. That you have a problem and you need to find a solution. That's even a little kid has. It doesn't need anyone to tell him he has a brain.
Yeah. Then, do we use the brain always in a good way?
Not in always, but when he finds something that bothers him, he understands that he's looking for a solution. That's how it works.
Why? I'm asking why. Having a brain and not having a brain, I don't think that's the reason. Because with the brain, we can do a lot of things that create more suffering.
Well, we want to be happy. Try to find a way to be happy.
Yeah. Because naturally we want to be happy because that's our nature. You see, if our nature would be, if anger and happiness would be our nature, we wouldn't have to develop strategies when we're angry. But we have this, I don't know if you felt it in the reflection, we have this very natural wish to be free from suffering, to be happy. Yeah? So can we share some of the strategies you have when you are angry? When you are attacked? Because you see, with other people, we would like to have very good strategies for them so that I can control their negative emotions. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how to deal with our own negative emotions, because that's the only emotions that we have access to. But we have this, again, strong wish, like, if I can control everybody out there, if everybody is kind with me, if everybody is nice to me, if I don't have any financial problems, if I have the perfect government, like at the moment here in this country, yeah. So many people say, if only we had a good government, then we would be happy. Well, you know, in Switzerland we have a okay government, but people also not that happy. And they don't wake up in the morning saying, oh, we have such a good government. Yeah. Or when somebody is sad or depressed or angry, it doesn't help if I tell them, but look, we have a good government. If our brain would function properly, then that would help. Yeah, that would help. You know, if it would be logic, the brain is made for logic, then, yeah, but then it's all these emotional kind of turmoil coming in that makes us lose contact to the cortex. And then the animal, the reptile brain is kind of starting to put out all these fighting or fleeing or freezing things. Yeah? Okay. Do you want, maybe take a chair or sit on the floor? Yeah. Okay, so when you are angry, what do? You can just shout it out. You talk to Luna, she will hear you, and then I read what you said. Do you understand now why you have to write down your questions? Because I really, I don't hear on this ear, and this ear also is like, so I can't understand. To Luna, you have to talk. Anyway, I think she will hear you. What is your strategy when you're angry?
I go for a walk.
You go for a walk. Okay?
I hit something.
You hit something. Okay?
Very, very strong.
Very strongly. Okay, very strongly hitting something.
Take a deep breath.
Huh?
A deep breath.
A deep breath.
Out.
Notice and try to understand why.
Shoshana, try to understand why this I understood, and the first one was?
Notice.
Notice.
Eat some sugar.
Pause. Yeah, you kind of notice.
Acknowledging the anger.
Huh?
Notice the anger.
You notice the anger, and you then
Try to understand why.
try to understand why.
Something made me angry.
Uh-huh.
What is it?
Yeah, okay. Very good. You do that every time you get angry? Yeah? Wow. This is great. Yeah.
Somebody said eating sugar.
Eating sugar. Yeah. So we just, again, I'm not saying what's a good strategy, what's not a good. It's for your brain to kind of, brain is very good. It's for your brain to figure out what is a helpful strategy and what is not.
Cry, take it out.
Huh? Cry.
Cry, take it out.
To cry.
Talk to someone.
Talk to someone. To the person who made you angry. Tricky, isn't it?
Maybe afterwards.
Maybe afterwards it's better because then it goes, and then they get defensive, of course, because they feel. Because you see, the thing is with anger, is like what you see is not what the other person sees. And you are convinced that what you see is right, and you try to convince the other person that your view is right and their view is wrong, and they feel exactly the same. So never ever try to contradict somebody who is angry. Never. It doesn't work. And we try it again and again and again and again and again. Yeah? Because then they start to get this defensive. Because anger also has this arrow. It wants to hurt. When you're angry at somebody, you don't want them to be happy. Yeah? Not the parents. Because that anger comes out of compassion and wanting to protect the children. Normal parents. I know there is some not normal parents who really hurt and harm their children. But that also, I don't think they planned that. They are so confused and so distorted that they hurt their own children. I mean, so we leave these people alone. I mean, if it has been your parents, then also, if you never really worked with this, and this is the first time you start to work on wanting to forgive them, I would say don't touch them. Like, if you have been treated in a very bad way by your parents, then you need a psychologist. And Buddhist practice, okay, but psychologist together is somebody that supports you, because this is very, very touchy thing. Because with the Buddhist view, very quickly you go into karma, okay, well, I started it, I deserve it, blah blah, yeah. But that's not helpful, and that's not what Buddhism says. And so you have to be very careful there. Because parents are somebody that you should trust. Yeah? But to understand that when, not just parents, but everybody else, when you are angry, would you call yourself normal? Do you go like, oh, wow, great, I was so angry, that was really me today. Do you think that's the same for everybody? That when they are angry, they're also not themselves? That's difficult to accept, isn't it? For us, no, it's not me. But then for others, that's them. That is really them. Yeah? So, you see, also when I was sitting one morning, I was sitting in meditation, and I was angry at somebody. So then, of course, instead of going to the breath, blah, 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 and I felt so justified to be angry at that person, like 100%. I wasn't shouting at her or whatever, but I had this closed heart, dislike, a closed heart towards the person. And I felt totally justified because she did this and this and this and this. And then, I was thinking about when somebody is angry at me, it is never justified. Never ever. When somebody has aversion towards me, it's never justified because I didn't do anything. Yeah? So there I could see that it's exactly the same action, but when it goes from here to there, then it's okay. It's to make them understand something, I have the right to be angry, it will help them, all these stupid ideas. But when it comes from there to here, how dare they be angry? Yeah? So this is what we're trying to see. So when this young man there, when he says, I notice, and then I think, why? That's quite a good thing already, especially the noticing. The why can also be helpful or not so helpful because you can find many reasons to be angry. Yeah? A very good way, and it comes from non-violent communication, is like when you start to look what needs did not get fulfilled. Because that makes you, that allows you to make the step out of the anger and go into self-compassion. You know, now at the moment in California or America, self-compassion is a big thing. You can buy books and books and books and books and books on self-compassion, which is good. I'm not saying it's not good. It's desperately needed. Yeah? So you need to find a way to get out of the anger and then ask, hey, what's happening? Once you have started down, because otherwise your logic brain or your logic mind is trying to give good reasons not to be angry, but the anger says, no, leave me alone, I want to be angry. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, a bit like this. Yeah.
Regarding why Marshall Rosenberg, who established the NBC, said that he doesn't answer the question for why without a lawyer. Because usually, what we read seriously, usually when we ask why, it's blaming. Most of the time.
Yeah, of course, you find millions of reasons why to be angry, and again, you feel justified. So why is not so bad. This one, which is also from them, which I find really good. What needs now did not get fulfilled. Because, you know, we have a lot of needs, but then it doesn't mean, I don't know how they continue, but then it doesn't mean that then I have to go around and asking everybody to fulfill my needs. I mean, excuse me. But also, if we use our brain in the right way, then we see the more needy we are, the more sensitive we become. I mean, the more needy we are and the expectations how people should behave with me, the bigger the target where they can shoot the arrow. You know, then it always hits somewhere. Yeah? The smaller the ego, the smaller actually, because ego, a feeling of I we have, that's fine. Yeah? But you know, I'm not so important, I'm not special, but not in a bad way. Yeah? Like you can also take the I'm not special, you can take it to again obsessive, I'm bad, I'm not important, I'm not special. Then it makes the ego huge. But there's certain thoughts that when they come with other emotions, like respect, for example, if you respect somebody, that thing, I'm less important than the other person, comes naturally. And you would, of course, offer them whatever they need or without any suffering. You know? So the thing is, you know, what need did not get fulfilled. One thing is that we see, I think I'm too needy. You know? I think it's not realistic to expect other people to fulfill all these needs. And you feel comfortable? It's okay? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm happy if you stay here. If you feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, then we have to do something. So we have all these. So to see that this is it's kind of unrealistic, yeah. And also when we see how high our expectations are, how other people should behave with me, and how really low my thing is how I should behave with others. You see what I mean? Yeah? Like we expect people not to cheat, not to lie to us, not to do this, not to do that, but then we do the same way. We cheat, we lie, not in a big way. That's the problem. The not in a big way is the problem because we don't pay attention. And we excuse our small negative actions with the bigger negative actions of others. Yeah? But it's still a negative action. It still creates kind of an imprint on the mind. But that's what many people do. You know, they just look around and say, oh, but look at these others, they do this and this and this. So why should I pay when others are not paying? And then that's it. You see, ethical conduct has, if you do spiritual practice, it has to be part of it. I mean, that's the basis. The ethical conduct not to harm anybody, the ethical conduct to abide by the rules of the country also, and not to harm anybody. But there again, we have very high expectations of ethical conduct of other people, but ours is very, very low. When it's convenient, yeah, then I'm very ethical. When it's not convenient, then I lose interest. Yeah? Or when it's expensive, or I have to give up comfort, then again, what do I do? What do I choose? Do I choose, okay, I give up on this now, but then I will not have a seat on the, small things, a seat on the train or whatever, stuff like this. Or do I want this seat on the train or on the bus? Small things like this. This is how we start to observe ourselves. But if you do start to observe yourself again, we had the first thing I think is negative that came up was guilt. Guilt, shame, regret, and all these kinds of things. We don't know who we are. Yeah, we think we are this combination of like lots of negative emotions and not exactly the way I want to be and all this, but that's not who we really are. It's just a part of us. So then we develop this guilt. So then with guilt, looking at your negative sides, from the Buddhist point of view, you're not allowed to do that. Because it puts you down far, it really puts you down. And then it really makes your ego like really big. Because that's when it's the biggest, when, I'm so bad, and I never do anything good. Now I know that I'm exaggerating. I mean, you're not being obsessively in these kinds of minds, I hope. Yeah? But sometimes we are there. So you see, on one hand, we're very selfish, but then on the other hand, again, we think we're totally no good. We're not logical. We're having all these different things. So, crying, talking, to be treated others in this way. Those are high expectations of others to be treated others in this way. It's a good way to see that these are my needs, and am I fulfilling the needs of others, for example? And it's the ego, we call it the super ego, okay? The one that you said is a negative emotion. The super ego doesn't want to fulfill the needs of others if it doesn't love them. Yeah? Even though if it would be helpful. You see, they say, if we would treat our enemies the way we treat our friends, you have a good chance they will become your friends. If we would treat our friends the way we treat our enemies, surely they would stop being your friends. Disregarding them, excluding them, not sharing anything with them, and like that. Yeah, so slowly. I mean, I'm not, again, don't jump to big conclusions. I'm not saying giving them all your money and giving them your house and things like that, but being respectful, being considerate, being, not so much what do I need, but also what do others need. Yeah? And has anybody tried to do that? And it's good. And what happens?
Make me more respectful for others. I put myself always down. Also, it's making me observe the actual the ego. Is the way.
Yeah. I like your gestures because you went like this, and it's exactly what it is. It makes you feel bigger. But bigger in a way, not a bigger ego, but bigger as a whole, like more spacious.
Bigger heart.
Yeah. You become like more free, like it's not here. But really trying to fulfill the needs of others, of respect, being loved, not being shouted at, they want to sleep, so you turn the light off because they want to sleep in the room, things like that. It really, if you decide that you want to do that, then it works. Then it really works and you become worse. You feel better about yourself. And all your guilt and your shame kind of disappears. Yeah? It's almost like a miracle, actually. Yeah, it's almost like a miracle. So start to do it in in your environment with the neighbors and things like that, and see what it does to you. This is it, because all these methods, they are not like 100% working, because for some people they don't work. So then you need to find something else. Yeah? So, but how do you know that it will work? Is by doing it and then by seeing what happens. But very quickly we kind of go like, oh no, this doesn't work. Why? Because when we are fulfilling the needs of others, and this is the danger, that's what we have to let go, we expect they will start to fulfill our needs, isn't it? And that happens unconsciously. If it would be conscious, and I say, okay, I'm going to fulfill Adi's needs, so then she will fulfill mine. If I would do it consciously, then at least I would know that I have these expectations. And then if she doesn't, well, then she doesn't. Also, I would notice that I'm a manipulator. I'm being kind to her because I want her to be kind to me. That's what is called manipulation. If that expectation is there. But if the expectation is not there, and you do it for your sake, because why? Because I just want to be kind. It's so simple. Yeah? If you decide, okay, as much as possible, I just want to be kind. Not because I want people to like me or love me or just because. It gives you so much more space in your life. And so much less frustrations and stress and all that. Because you can be kind to anybody. You know? If you see they don't want you, being kind means you get out of their way. If you feel that somebody rejects you, if you feel that somebody doesn't like you, you know, people, same as us, do you have a choice to like or dislike somebody? Yeah, maybe it's good, thank you. Do you have a choice to like or dislike somebody?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first moment, like you feel dislike coming up and you go, hey, stop it, and it goes? No. We have a choice with what we're going to say and how the facial expression will be. But here, the open heart, can you really tell your heart, just like this, hey, come on, open up. It's another living being, wants to be happy, doesn't want to suffer, and the heart opens up. No. You can say it here, and then you send it down. You send the message down here, and then from here comes, yeah, but she's doing this, and she's doing that, and she's getting on my nerves, and she's a nutnik, and she's da-da-da, and she's da-da-da-da. Yeah? How do you feel when somebody rejects you?
Awful.
Small.
Huh?
Small.
Small. Carolina?
There was a research just recently that was checking what is going in the brain when someone rejects you and when someone put like in the neurotransmitters are the same, like the pain rejection is so strong like when someone put a
It's the pain of being rejected is the same as if somebody puts a knife into you. This you have a choice. The knife you can accept or not accept. The knife, taking the knife, that is your choice. There, I think you really have a choice. When you understand that the person who has the knife of rejection is powerless. The moment you think they do it on purpose, the moment you think that they have power over the mind, that they can not reject you if they want to, they want not to reject you, the knife stops here, it doesn't go in. But that's so difficult. So this is why we have to come back to ourselves, and this is what we'll do after the break. I will make you meditate on people that you dislike. And then you have to train to open up your heart, and they're not even here. I hope you have somebody that you dislike. Do you have? I don't have anybody at the moment. At the moment, I don't have anybody. I'm not saying that there's nobody, but at the moment, I don't know who. But it's really good, and also again, it's maybe a bit difficult. But the next time when you see somebody and the heart goes clack, go there and see whether you have a choice to like the person or dislike the person. You don't. And the hurt from being rejected comes by thinking they do it on purpose and they have a choice. They don't have a choice. Now, okay. Now again, you can say they might have a choice because our ego says they have a choice. They do it on purpose. Do you harm people on purpose? Have you ever harmed somebody on purpose, and when the anger was gone, you were, wow, that's great, I harmed that person? Ever? Nobody. Nobody harms on purpose, but it's easy to see with us. But again, it is so difficult to see that in others. Our ego, the superego, it doesn't want to see it. Because then it loses its power over us. Yeah? And then the knife goes where? It goes into that balloon in here. You know? How dare they reject me? Yeah? So there's many strategies to work with that. What do you do if somebody rejects you? I just said it before. Out of consideration, if you can, you get out of their face. Because you bring up their negative sides. Because many reasons, like so many things always come together. Maybe they're not in a good state. Maybe you remind them of somebody that they don't like. Maybe you show them a mirror that the things they have as well. Maybe something happened in this life or in a past life, It's really amazing when you start to watch your mind, which comes through mindfulness and awareness. This you have to train. If you want to transform something in your behavior, in your mind, and have strategies that work, the first thing you need to develop is a quiet, relaxed first, stable and clear mind, which comes through meditation practice. Sitting, having an object, bringing the mind back again and again and again. Knowing that this is what I want to do, that's mindfulness, being in the present. Awareness, knowing what's going on, feeling what's going on, experiencing what's going on. What is the story here that is being told? I tell you, this is not easy. It's when you have negative emotions, and even you have all the techniques to dissolve them, when the object is right there, it's like, wow. It's hard work, and it doesn't go boom, just like this. It's like layers and layers and layers and layers. But if you succeed to kind of dissolve dislike or aversion for somebody, then real love comes up. Not attached love. You see, when we spontaneously like somebody or love somebody or whatever, there's a lot of attachment there, because the same as for the person that has aversion for us. They bring up our positive side, our soft side, our nice side. Maybe they remind us of somebody that we like. Yeah? So, but it's not them. Yeah? Have you ever noticed that when you find out that they're friends of your friend, first you dislike them? This happened to me at one point. It was many years ago, really at the beginning of my practice. Yeah? And so somebody came to see me, and I didn't like them so much. I just, we have this thing. I mean, let's be honest, we have this thing. That there's some people that we like them and some people we don't. If you love everybody who comes into your focus, you're a Buddha, you will like them. So we're on the way to there, but we're not there. So they came, and I didn't like them so much. But then after the second visit, they said, and we're friends of, and I was not very hospitable, I have to say. I was happy when they left. What to do? It's none of you here, so you can relax. It's none of you here. You don't need to think, oh, was it me? No, it wasn't you. I think it was a couple from England. And then maybe the second visit, they came and said, actually why we came to visit you, because we are friends of this, and they said you're such a nice person. So I went like, So, then a kind of ego comes up, but it's not such a bad ego who says no. I don't, again, not consciously, but there's some change there, because I don't want them to go back to my friends, which I really like, and tell them, well, she's a horrible person. What did you tell us? She's a horrible person. So I have to change my attitude, and then I like them. This is it. If you don't go down the same alley again and again and again and again, why you don't like them, then slowly, you bring up your good side and you smile at them, say,